Yeah. It helps. It really does, I'm telling you, because the whole editing the sound shit's bullshit. It takes forever. It's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
It's a learning curve, Dave, I'm telling you.
We should actually have you recording me learning.
Yeah, right. There we go.
Watch Dave the Chimp.
Not help you to sit back like Jane Goodall. Like,
it's like I can't watch this anymore.
That's great. No, but I will help you for sure. Just gotta make sure.
Hey, once you
throw any questions at me.
Once you get me on the path of logic, I'll figure it out. Gotta do
It's
something
exciting,
for my
too.
retirement.
Yeah. But okay, so I want to talk about healthcare. Just leading that a little bit earlier, but because often you and I had this debate about like whether or not it's good to have like universal healthcare with the government involved, and your opinions are hell no, the government needs to get the fuck out of that shit. And at least the government's current situation with Obamacare is that it's a mandated thing to have health insurance, and being on the shitty recipient of that one, like, I'm getting taxed and getting a fee every year that I can't afford to pay, let alone my taxes just normally, which, the 1099, I'm screwed on that whole thing, and like, that's a whole story.
You're in business for yourself, and
yeah, even though
you're one of those small businesses who got hurt by the previous administration, you had to pay for not having insurance. It's kind of an odd thing to even say that out loud, You're being fined for not having something you can't afford.
Exactly.
And I know many people that I work with that tell me that they have like a $5,000 deductible. So they have health insurance that they can never use. I mean, they don't have $5,000. I mean, that's to start with.
Yeah.
That's before it even starts working. And I mean, that's the bottom line. That's the plan that the government provided with Obamacare. I mean, you're basically paying through the nose no matter what. I don't think the government should be anywhere near healthcare.
Yeah, but like I fail to understand though how like the goal of Obamacare was to get everybody involved, which would help balance out the sick people who were being taken on by health insurance, because Obamacare essentially made it to where all health insurance providers had to accept people whether or not they would have previously declined them for being too sick or having a potential costing a lot. They were making business decisions and saying, you're kind of risky, so we're not going to insure you because we know you're going to cost a lot. Obamacare got rid of that, but then to balance out those sick people who were going to get insurance, then you have the young people who are being forced to get insurance as well, and people like myself who, I can't afford, $400 or $500 a month. And I guess that's kind of my point. My question is like, how did it get so high? Like, if it was $200 a month, that would be a struggle for sure, but it'd be a lot more manageable than a $500 one. So it almost incentivizes me not to get health insurance, because what the fuck, I'm gonna pay $500 a month or $400 a month and then break my leg and still have to pay $3,000 up front.
Exactly.
What's the fucking point of that?
If you would have just it's hard to believe, but you can actually save that amount of money that you would be giving to the government for nothing that you're going to get. Put it in a health savings account, and you have the money there that if you do break your leg, you go to the hospital and say, hey, I'll pay you cash. Believe me, the price is different if you go to the hospital and say to them, this is how much money I have. You take out a big wad of cash and say, this is all I have. Can you do, if you pay cash for a procedure, it's cheaper than if they go through the insurance company and they get to bloat the prices, and it's a bureaucratic game. This is how these people get rich. It really is. It's they're getting rich. They're doing it off the backs of other people.
But who's getting rich? Like
these are these elected people now. We're talking about elected officials, hospital administrators. Have you seen the salaries of like these hospital administrators?
No, I
like
haven't.
Millions of dollars, some of them.
For like
stock options, there's a lot.
So like even for like Florida hospital, they're making.
It's these people at the top, the upper echelons of all of these big businesses, they're making sure that they get paid. Mm-hmm. Even if they do a terrible job. You can actually do a horrible job as the CEO of a company.
And still make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And yeah, you have they call it a golden parachute. You leave the company with millions of dollars. They should fine you for that. They shouldn't give you a promise of a great future. Well, there was a guy, and I'm not exactly sure who it was, but he was arguing about his own private plane when it came to his retirement from a giant corporation. That's ridiculous,
They were going to give him a plane?
No, he said it was too dangerous, or he had to have his own private plane as part of his retirement. It was a point of contention. I looked it up.
But is that what's causing? So are these, because you're talking about health or hospital executives, and that's slightly separate from insurance companies, which are the
Not
people
that
who are.
much.
Well, they kind of go hand in hand. The more the hospital charges, the more the insurance companies have to, increase the prices on you so that they can maintain a business. But that doesn't necessarily explain why, like, the healthcare is so expensive now. Like, you would think before, like, Obamacare, you had people who opted to get healthcare, when they needed it. They'd buy health insurance, and, it was, what, $300, maybe $200, $300?
We've had healthcare, my wife and I together, for the past 23 years. We've always had it every single
Well, okay,
month.
so, like...
And it's gone up a lot.
But 10 years ago, how much was healthcare before Obamacare passed?
It's weird. I used to smoke cigarettes, and after Obamacare passed, I quit smoking cigarettes many years ago, and my rates went up.
But what were
$180 more?
What were
than they were
you
before.
spending like 10 years ago per month
It
on
was
healthcare?
about $400.
So
380, 400
for two people.
for two people, just the two.
And
of us.
then now, how much do you roughly spend?
It's $520 a month.
So it's like $100 difference.
$100 difference.
So I mean, it's like, I guess that's not
But
really
everything else
that
has
big
gone
of
up
a
too.
difference.
The deductibles have gone up. The co-pays have gone up. There's
So that's
other
the
things that have
difference.
gone up with
Yeah,
it.
'cause-
it's not just one thing. It's like a multitude of things that have gone up with that care.
And that's a huge problem I see constantly. Is like, it's one of the main reasons why I don't get health care. Because if I was saying, if I break my leg and I have health insurance, my deductible is still $5,000. Let's say,
Yeah.
like, what was the point of me spending $400 every single month? Okay, so if I get hit by a bus, you'll cover the last 80%, but I still got to come up with $10,000. Like, are you fucking kidding
You won't
me?
have to worry about it because you're
Yeah,
in the
be
hospital for so
fucking
long. They're not able to squeeze you when you're unconscious in a coma.
Yeah, or they'll find a way to squeeze you
But
for everything.
I bet as soon as you wake up, that guy will be there for the finance part of the hospital going, Mr. Ashby, it's a good thing you're awake.
So it almost feels like a con.
Like,
But I've always felt like this about car insurance, because like here in Florida, it's I don't know about every other state, but I know if you basically buy car insurance to cover the other person, essentially, right? That's why you have like personal injury protection and things like that.
you have personal injury protection on yourself, and then you also have comprehensive and collision. So I mean, you're responsible for your own insurance, but it's a no-fault state here in Florida. So let's say the other person doesn't have insurance, and this happened to me actually. Somebody hit me when I was sitting at a turn. Right as I was about to take off, they hit me going about 55 miles an hour,
Jesus.
and just smashed my car to bits. It was amazing. I mean, knocked me out. And the person that hit me didn't have car insurance.
So then,
and my insurance company had to pay for my car. And it's weird because they were kind of investigating me, and I thought they were kind of on my side, but it turned out it was like they're not so much on your side, the insurance company.
yeah, they're trying to.
They're looking to not pay you.
Yeah,
As
exactly.
much as possible. I kind of had to argue with them about it just to be able to get a measly amount of money for the vehicle I had. It was worth way more.
But
way more.
I fail to understand why it is like legally mandated for you to, if you're driving a car, you have to have insurance. It's almost like it's a business protected by like a government mafia. Like, if you want to drive a car, you gotta pay us your dues, and if you don't, we'll arrest you. Like, and that's kind of fucked because I don't understand the point. I would understand the point if you had insurance, it was specifically to cover only your shit, and that's how it should be across the board. Maybe is if I want to drive a car without insurance and I wreck my car, that's on me, and I have no personal protection. So if the person decides to sue me, well, get fucked. That's my fault.
Well, the personal protection is on yourself, though, and then you have bodily injury on other people. You know what I mean? But you have on yourself. So what you're explaining is like having the insurance, like personal injury protection for yourself, and not your car. So if your car gets wrecked, hey, sorry, car's dead, but I'm still alive.
Yeah.
And you've got enough money to patch yourself up. You kind of already have to have that now.
But is that like? Is that like the bare minimum, like legally? Like
that's the bare minimum, and a lot of people do that. And what happens is they get in an accident and they hurt somebody, and then they're in big trouble, because they don't have any kind of insurance to pay for it. They get sued.
Yeah. So, but
if they didn't have the insurance in the first place, they don't have the money to pay for the
settlement
lawsuit they're going to lose in the settlement anyway. So it's kind of like beating a dead horse. So I mean, I can see the point how people want to have socialized medicine with the government all involved, but it should be more privatized to where they're competitive instead of mandating like the Soviet Union did. I mean, this is like we're talking about like Russia's got nothing on the Soviet Union. They did with a whole bunch of countries, and they just mandated everybody has a job. Bernie Sanders is talking about it now. Everybody has a job no matter what. Government gives them a job instead of doing like being forced to have a certain economy a certain way. That doesn't ever work. It has never worked. You let capitalism take control of your private healthcare sector to where people are competing for your business, just like a car dealership. I personally like certain kind of cars, and I'm going to go buy that kind of car because I like Maker, I have my own reasons, but at least there's a competition. I can go elsewhere. I mean, look at companies like Facebook. They don't have any competition. You go there, go home. There's nowhere to go.
Well, yeah, like
but
Twitter
at least with
and stuff like
healthcare,
that.
you should be able to have a choice, and not the choice mandated by the government who knows nothing about healthcare. They don't know about healthcare.
But can't you also just get your own private insurance right now? Like, you don't have to be a part of the whole Obamacare thing. It's only if
you
you
get your own
don't.
private insurance.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You have to look it up online to see. But I pay $520 a month for my wife and I. To me, that's a hell of a lot of money considering if you use it, you still got to pay co-pays and still.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, that's a
It's not
ridiculous
cheap.
amount. That's a car payment, a nice car
It's a
payment.
BMW payment.
Yeah,
right?
like you'd be cruising, looking fucking fly.
Don't get me wrong. Stephanie's got a nice car,
And-
but I'd have a nice car too. So
And-
I've got to drive what I got.
I mean, your point that you often make with like the what is it the how do you word it? It's like a savings account essentially. What?
It's a health savings account. They used to have those actually. A long time ago, I worked at T-Mobile and they had that, and you would be able to put money, kind of like almost like your 401k deductions go. They go tax free into a health savings account, and you use that money. It builds up over the year, and if you know that you're going to go see the doctor 2-3 times a year, then you can put all the money in there that's going to go to that, and it's tax free. Especially you got to use it. And they at one time, I guess when I was there, you had to use it in that year period, or else you lose it. So you can only put in so much. Now they have different laws, I'm sure. I might be mistaken, so I'm not 100%
Yeah.
sure. But to where that money, and the laws could be changed if the laws aren't this way already, to where you just have a health savings account, you put money into it, and it can be invested into whatever you want. Mutual funds, however you want to do it. I mean, not everybody's an investment specialist, but you can make it simple. You can make it, you want to be aggressive when you're young? Yeah, it's safe. You want to be a little more moderate when you get older, and you want to be real conservative as you get even older. That's the way the options you give people, and it's almost common sense which one you want to pick. And that is privately structured by a private company, not the government.
But couldn't you just do that anyways with a savings account?
Not when you have the government telling you have to buy Obamacare if you don't have a fine and all that stuff. You don't have the money to do it. We invest money. We invest, but we don't invest I wish I had that $520 a month to invest in my own private health care to where it built its own value, and when I die, I can pass that on to the next generation.
But
Next generation people have a ton of money if I'm healthy and I just up and croak.
So would that replace health insurance in general? Like, would you, instead of having health insurance, you would just basically take that same amount of money and just put it into a savings account?
2 generations of people, if everybody, instead of paying,
But if no one got sick,
government,
at the end of
it's not everybody. Everybody dies, okay?
Yeah, but you might spend more than
a lot of times
Hey.
though. There's money left over, and that money left
a
over.
lot of times. You think?
There's a lot of because they make everything super expensive now. If you weren't paying the prices you're paying now, if you literally paid cash prices when you go to the doctor instead of the bloated thing that it is now, it goes back to the people. People don't like this.
Yeah,
idea. It
I
scares
agree with
people.
getting rid of the mandate. As far
I don't
as
want the government telling me I have to have this. I gotta buy this. What if it was an iPhone? I don't like iPhones all that much. Sorry, people. Sorry.
this is an Android business.
Yeah, seriously. iPhones are nice, but they're expensive and they're a pain in the ass.
They are pretty nice.
Proprietary. They're not easy to use.
But did you?
I don't. What if I was forced by the government to buy that every single year? The brand new one, you got to have it no matter what. It's for your own safety. I don't need somebody telling me what I need for my own safety, for my own health care. I was paying for health care long before Barack Obama came around and told me I had to.
Yeah.
I still had to provide a form on my taxes that I never had to have before to prove that I had health insurance. I looked at that and I gave it to my accountant guy. He goes, "Oh, I know you got that. Don't worry about it." I'm like, because he sees it comes out of the paycheck. He sees it come out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's embarrassing in a way. It's like, so I've had this thing, and now it is no imposition to me that he did that. That Barack Obama went and enforced and imposed that on against the will of the people
Yeah.
to pay. Hey, you're going to pay no matter what. You don't have it. And
I
nobody
don't.
that I know that's your age has it either.
Well, I can't
Everybody's
afford it.
paying
It's fucking
fines.
expensive, dude.
Everybody's paying the fine.
I would, yeah. If I ended up paying every month, I'd probably be paying like what, a third, a half of what I make every month.
Yeah, you're
just in
stupid.
health insurance.
It's not easy.
Dude, it'd be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. It
Yeah.
is. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if you take that money and invest that you were forced to pay, not even the same amount, a portion of that, only 25% of that into your own health savings account, diversified into, like I said, 3 simple ways. It's easy for people to become wealthy just through their healthcare account to pay their own way for medicine. And when you die, if there's
Again,
left
though,
over,
what's the
give it
difference
to the
between
next generation.
that and a savings account? Because if the government's not mandating
You're making
you-
money on an actual account that earns.
But if the government's not mandating you to put it aside like they are with health insurance, then people aren't going to be putting aside $500
The
a
government
month.
doesn't have to mandate you do it. It can be a private thing to where the government mandates, in a way, makes a law saying this much of your pay goes into your health savings account.
It's like a tax.
It's not a tax because the government doesn't get the money. It goes
Okay.
into a private account that is an investment account that
But
you
it
can
is-
monitor. You can go and actually
Okay.
see.
Yeah.
You can go to Fidelity or wherever you're going to have a T. Rowe Price. There's all kinds of companies out there that can do this. And that would increase competition in the people that invest the money that is for your future health care. They'll treat it just like an investment account so that it's like a 401k. It's like a Roth IRA. When you put money into that, it grows. So approximately every 7 years, if you invest properly, it doubles. But our Medicare system now, and our whole Obamacare system now, is not based on that. It's based on a zero-sum game of where they just it's not working, and it's so expensive that the insurance companies are just raising prices, making it impossible. That this is the sign of what it is that's to come with socialized medicine, unified healthcare, whatever they want to call it. It's going to be to where they're going to be taking half of your check like they do in a lot of places in the European Union. And it's not, you're not really, it doesn't really cost that much. It doesn't cost half of your paycheck
But it
for
almost
your
sounds
health care,
like-
for your life. It just doesn't.
Well, no, they definitely get more benefits than just healthcare for that. But that's a
But you
separate
don't get
conversation.
anything left though when you're done. There's nothing left. It just goes away. When you die, it's all gone. But if you were able to save up your money and you were healthy and one day you croaked, it happened to a couple of friends of mine that are way younger than me, and they would have a ton of money in there. They never went to the doctor or anything. They would have had a lot of money to give to their kid.
Yeah.
But now nothing
But
gets
then,
passed down.
so would this be in lieu of a health insurance?
That would be your health insurance. You pay into your health savings account.
So what if
you
I
use that to pay your?
But what if you're like 19 and you get sick or something like that, and you
19
only
you
paid?
get sick, then you know what? Then that's when the government program kicks in. That's like the Medicaid that we have now, the last resort instead of the first resort.
So
Medicaid is being used, is being abused by it being the first line of how people are treated.
Well, what if it's okay? So, but if we use that system and then say the 19-year-old, like, what would be the criteria where the government would step in? Because the 19-year-old, is young, healthy, and able-bodied,
When you have
but they get
exhausted
sick.
your money, that's when the government plan kicks in.
So then, what if you just never pay into it? Then that's basically universal
The government
healthcare
can tax
for broke
you.
people.
Not everybody's going to have to pay. That works. That's the way it works. Everybody's going to have to pay. If you
But what if you don't? Like, what if you're sick? You're 19, you never had a job, you're in school, and then you just get like cancer. And
How
then,
many people does that happen to?
I mean,
Almost
even if it only happened to
nobody.
one, what would be the government's situation?
That is the exception to the rule instead of it being the rule.
So what would be the criteria? Because if you say like
The criteria is once you have exhausted your health savings plan, and if you're 19 and haven't had a job at McDonald's or something by now, you're a loser. There's something wrong with your parents.
you should have a job by like
Seriously.
18, yeah.
You should have some of this money already built up. But I mean, at least you're.
But it'd be like $50.
It'd be a lot more than that.
$200 maybe if you're working full time.
I mean,
like, come on.
you would treat this like something that you want to grow as an investment. You don't want it to treat it like I'm saving it like a savings account. So the longer you don't hit it, the bigger it gets.
But the only way
it doesn't exist now. Now we're doing it by just giving the money to the government. It disappears into the ether, and then here's what they want to give us back.
Or private insurance. You can still buy private insurance.
You can buy private insurance, but
pay
it's
into a
still
company
expensive.
and then and that's the problem is like I think this is the reason why maybe that the prices have gone up for individual health insurance is because the government made this giant conglomerate, with however many, over 3 million people who are now, a single payer system essentially. Now the government gets to go to these health insurance providers and say, hey, we have 3 million people, you're going to take this price. And the hospitals just have to say, all right, I guess we're going to take it. Because they have so many people, it's worth it to them. But then a private insurance company has to compete with that. And they're like, well, shit, like we have to pay a little bit more because we don't have such a pool, If you have 3 million people in your health insurance, you could probably get a cheaper price with a hospital than if you only have, 500,000.
Well, since the unemployment rate is down to like 3.9%, I mean, it's amazingly low. That means a lot of people have jobs. Yeah, sure, man. Hold on. Gotta go down to the wine cellar for a second.